Remember the AI profile pictures that everyone was posting about last month? What if I told you that Lensa, the business behind those photos, made $10 million in just 1 week using software that is entirely free for anyone to use? The good news is you're still early and AI is still very new to us, and the opportunities to make a ton of money are here and it's endless. So in this video, I'm gonna share 7 business ideas you can start today using AI. Now, all 7 of these ideas will be ranked based on difficulty, potential profit, and time, so you can pick the right one just for you. Now, before we start, normally I tell y'all to like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, that's always good to do, but with this video here, one thing I don't want you guys to do is to share it with anyone, because I want to keep this video as exclusive as possible, because I genuinely believe the ideas that are mentioned here are worth so much money. Now, if you guys are ready for this list, well, we got the first business idea right here, and this is to start an e-commerce store powered by AI. Now, tons of people sell products online. This can go from clothing to lifestyle products and even art. And where AI can come in handy is designing and ideating these products so that you can then drop ship it or eventually move over into wholesale shipping to customers. So let's walk through some examples step by step so you guys fully understand how to do this. What comes to mind for me when selling something online is usually merch or some type of clothing. In this instance, what you could do is use ChatGPT for some t-shirt design ideas and narrow those down to some of your favorite concepts. From there, you can use a service like Midjourney or DALL-E to generate some art based on those concepts. As another example, say you ask ChatGPT and it recommends t-shirts with scenic landscapes, or maybe even a t-shirt collection with different types of animals. Even more than that, maybe the animals are like futuristic or they're a blend of one another. You just got something special. Now, this service existed back when I was first dropshipping like 5 to 6 years ago, and it's still very popular now, and this is called Printful, which is a print-on-demand service which allows you to not hold inventory and with minimal setups, get orders, have them printed, and then shipped and fully delivered to the customer without you ever having to invest or see the product. If you want to set it up even further, there are services like Shopify, which allow you to set up a store very easily. It's literally like templates created, drag and drop, and if you stack that with another tool like Sidekick to build out your landing pages, or even use additional copywriting tools such as Jasper.ai or Copy.ai, you can find yourself making a website without having to code, without really doing any work, and an AI completely making everything for you. Nowadays, it's not even uncommon for dropshippers to use TikTok for organic marketing to showcase their products, and even right now, Facebook ads, something that I've spent a couple $100,000 on back in the day, is still very beneficial to this moment. Now, with both those concepts, you should at least have a clear niche on where you can market to and ultimately find buyers for your product. If we take a look at some of the most expensive clothing brands in the world, it really has nothing to do with design, but it's actually the culture and the community that makes the clothing brand so unique and successful. If you do happen to take this path, I recommend focusing on building the brand identity, having a good story, because that's what I think stands out a successful business from one that might not ever pick up traction. Now, if a question comes up to you, well, Brian, this was too easy. Is all of it legal? When it's this easy, it almost feels illegal, and that's why I want to make sure that you guys know that selling AI-generated art is completely 100% legal. This is because no human had created the art, and under copyrighted current US laws, it means you can use AI art in whatever way you want to make money. Alternatively to t-shirts and clothing and merch, you can also create different products like canvas art, puzzles, coffee mugs, and even notebooks. All of those are applicable for print-on-demand dropshipping, which means the possibilities and designs are effortless, and it costs you $0 to start. Now, even before AI, e-commerce stores were already a bit saturated. Like I said, I started dropshipping about 5 years ago. The first year I did it, I made over $100,000 in revenue. As soon as I had a winning product, and I actually had it wholesaled, I bought inventory of it, came to my house. I would then see a lot of these other direct Chinese manufacturers listing my same product that I had developed and I created a full idea on, and they just started undercutting me. And it always seemed like the competition was right behind me. It's just that this time around, you're gonna have tools that I didn't have access to back then. Before we get into my next few points, I want to give a quick special important shout out from the sponsor of today's video, and that is going to be NordVPN. Now, I've personally been using a VPN for the last 4 to 5 years, and all that started when I had my identity stolen from me online. One of the easiest and best ways that you can protect yourself is by using a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, and this is because a VPN will protect your information by masking your device's IP address and allows you to have an extra layer of security from any hackers or internet criminals. Now, besides the extra security, you also get NordVPN's access to TV shows and movies through Netflix that you may not have access to before. So if you happen to be traveling abroad the country, I was recently in Korea and I wanted to watch some of my favorite movies in the US, I was able to do that just by turning on my VPN, saying I'm back in the States, and then boom, I had all my access returned. Now guys, whether you're using AI or trying to start your business, always make sure that you are using a VPN, especially if you're on a public Wi-Fi router. And this is why I highly recommend today's sponsor of the video, which flows super well with what we're talking about. And it's not only that, but Nord is also hooking up our viewers on this channel with over 50% off and a completely risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. So ladies and gents, all you got to do is check out the link down below to get started as well. And that is going to be at nordvpn.com/BrianJung. Let's get back into today's video. So the next one coming up is something that you might not have expected. Take as an example, anytime you see an ad on TV or you watch a YouTube video or anything on social media, or you're watching the news and they're talking, it starts with words. That's how you hear me. That's how you see me. This here is called copywriting, and it's the ability to use words in order to market or to convert people to a specific objective. Now, the two biggest struggles that any writers face these days are time or something called writer's block, and that applies to copywriting as well, where AI technology that exists right now is the solution to a problem that has existed for as long as we know. Basically, you could start your own copywriting business that exclusively uses AI such as ChatGPT to generate that copy you need for a specific business. You got to keep in mind too, the art of copywriting takes a tremendous amount of time to get good at and to master, and it's always changing. And there's people who have been doing this for what, 10, 20, 30 years, and you could find that this AI does it not only quicker, cheaper, more efficiently, but they could do it at the pace of maybe if you had 10 of those employees all at the same time working under you. This is one of the biggest breakthroughs to exist. It's an AI generated copywriter, and all you need to do is focus on finding clients, understanding their vision, and then using the ChatGPT automation to connect the pieces, and you collect the income. Now, unlike the last business idea, this is not going to be totally automated, but it can have a much higher earning potential. Everything I'm mentioning in this video is coming from first world experience of whether I was a client or I started my own business. And shortly after my dropshipping business, what I got into was starting my own marketing agency. At that time with my business partner, I was actually in charge of the first Major League Rugby team here in the DC area in leading marketing and filling out that stadium. But if I had tools that exist such as AI to generate the copy, I probably would have been able to 10x the clients that I had back then. Getting clients is not hard. Social media is still evolving, and all these businesses that exist right now are still so traditional. I can't even count on the tip of my fingers all the businesses that I currently know right now that need someone who can help them with social media or post content or know what captions to post. So basically with this AI, you can automate a lot of this process, and all you have to do is just focus on what the client needs, and you're gonna get all the best options that it generates, and you just choose one out of them. Over time, this will also help you build processes, build systems, optimize keywords, and really start to understand what works best for inputs using the AI. Ultimately, this would be best suited for creative people and for people that have been already interested in copywriting, or if anyone has ever gotten like a marketing degree, or you imagine yourself owning an agency. This stuff makes money. It is real. You can start it today. You just need to get a few clients. This can happen through word of mouth. And one of the ways that I first got my clients was actually reaching out to a few business owners and saying, hey, I'm gonna work for you completely for free. Let me show you what I can do. So guys, I'm excited because this stuff is crazy. And it works. As you continue to build your success, you can exponentially grow your business by hiring the right people to learn how to do the same thing that you're doing, scale it up, scale it vertically, and eventually, if you become really good at using AI, you can teach other people how to do the same, and there's also money in that. Now, the next business idea is essential to nearly all content on the internet. So if you do anything related to the interwebs, this is something that you want to look into. This is all going to be regarding thumbnails. When you clicked on this video, you saw a thumbnail. When you see most articles or you go on Google search, you're gonna see a thumbnail to a source of information that you may want to learn more about. So whether it's websites, blogs, photos, landing pages, you name it, thumbnails are so essential because it's almost like the cover of a book for everything on the internet. So the best course of action is gonna be to figure out what kind of thumbnails you could create and provide value to. If you wanna make YouTube thumbnails, niching it down into just YouTube thumbnails is gonna be the easiest way to grow your client base rather than trying to be a jack of all trades type of guy. I've learned in the past, if you're all over the map, it's gonna be harder to pick up new clients. So focus on one area of expertise, but get really good at it. So when it comes to generating thumbnails using AI, we're gonna be using two tools, and this is gonna be Midjourney and Dolly, which specialize in AI image generation based on text prompts. In all likelihood, if you're generating thumbnails, you might need to have basic Photoshop skills to put together the generated images, but there are also other very easy applications and websites such as Canva. I've been using them for 6 to 7 years now, and it is still very viable for you to create professional thumbnails to this day. Now, this business is gonna be a bit less automated, but as AI gets better and as we see the technology of apps like Lensa being developed even more, I could see this becoming an even more viable resource for you to make money. Like, I'll tell you, as a YouTube creator, I get a ton of emails, like almost every single day, from 4 or 5 people. Hey, Brian, let me edit your videos or let me make you free thumbnails. I already know the tricks of the trade, and more than that, we already have our own in-house thumbnail guy from Europe working with us. Shout out to Olex. I don't know if he's ever seen this video. That's my guy right there. That's the guy who's making these amazing thumbnails. But if I could start over again, yeah, I'd be using AI, taking advantage of that and making the sickest thumbnails to date. And let me tell you, there are still YouTubers that I am friends with that I talk to on a daily basis that always struggle with finding a good thumbnail artist. So if you're trying to find a little side hustle and utilize AI and you have an eye for aesthetics, you maybe know how to use a bit more Photoshop as well, or if you don't, you can use Canva. Take advantage of a thumbnail starting business. Thumbnails are essential to getting more clicks online. The better you get at this, the more lives you can actually change and the more money you can make for that creator. Now, these last 3 business ideas have been relatively simple, so let's take them up a notch for the next one. This one here is arguably one of the easiest to start, but it has the most potential to make you money. A lot of influencers, news agencies, entrepreneurs have started their own newsletter in the past few years, and there's some good reason for that. Outside of being a great way to connect with your audience and owning your own platform, this can also be a great driver of revenue. Here's the thing, with AI, you can actually automate the writing of a newsletter very, very easily. If you need photos, you can use Midjourney to make some of these images for your newsletter cover. And there's even more tools in order to automate the type of conversions that you're looking to get. Now, I have my own newsletter. It's fully written in-house. We haven't tested it yet on AI, but I've heard from some of my other friends, and I've been doing more research on articles from people who have been trying this, and they're saying that right now with the AI creating it, all you have to do is your revision, and it turns out it can write content better than you can, which is nuts, which is crazy. So Brian, well, how do I get started? Well, all you have to do is pick a market, a niche, and a topic. Maybe you want to write a daily newsletter about your favorite vegan food. Maybe you're all about that keto. Maybe you're a workout enthusiast. You like going to the gym. You have your favorite workouts that you're doing. Even more than that, I mean, there's a whole market for everything, whether it's mechanical keyboards or maybe you love something like credit cards like I do. You can write about things that you really enjoy, and all you have to do is find a way to utilize social media like Instagram, Twitter, which is really organic, easy to use, to start posting value, get people to sign up for your newsletter, and to start providing them value. So say you do pick the topic and the idea, all you have to do is run it through ChatGPT to generate a newsletter that you can then send out either every day or every week. Now, okay, well, Brian, you just gave me the formula on a newsletter. Yeah, I'm passionate about fishing or, gardening, whatever it is. How am I going to monetize it though? Where does the money come from? Well, to begin, you're first going to need to build up a decent chunk of subscribers. After that, if you get a decent open rate, people are actually reading, you're getting some feedback, and if you're patient enough, you can eventually build up an audience that'll pay decent money to have a spot in the newsletter as a sponsor, or you throw in things such as an affiliate. So that's gonna be sponsorships, affiliates. Someone will say, hey, I love your newsletter, and I know you got 1,000 readers in there right now. Can I pay you $500 in order for you to shout out our product? Our product is good. It turns out you use it. It's a win-win-win. On top of that, if you get a loyal subscriber base, you can also get affiliate commission. So say say you use a specific gardening tool that you really love, reach out to the company or find them on Amazon FBA. And anytime someone uses that or signs up for it, you'll be earning a commission too. So I've gone through a ton of different newsletter platforms. The one that I'm using right now is ConvertKit. If you guys want to check them out, I'll have that link down below in the description. If you're also curious on figuring out which affiliate programs exist and things that you can get started with, I use Impact, which holds like thousands of different affiliate programs from companies, and I'll have a link for you to sign up for that as well down below. Eventually, you can move over into a platform like Substack, where if you're confident in the value you're providing, you can charge people like $5 a month for the newsletter of information that you're providing to them. Ultimately, the bigger you grow, the more value you provide, and the better content the newsletter has, the more money you can make. A good example of all this is going to be Morning Brew, which just massively grew their newsletter from the pandemic. They have a massive team over 200 people, and I can tell you this, anyone can start something like Morning Brew. Now, another potentially strange concept that I believe could create a lot of profit is going to be a Fiverr-based AI art service. Lensa was uniquely created to provide an opportunity to see people through their own lens of AI. A majority of the world still is pretty unaware of how AI artwork works, and this means that there are a lot of people who are willing to pay someone to generate art for them, and this is where you could provide that service and value. Now, to begin something like this, it is actually still pretty simple. All you need to do is pull up DALL-E or Midjourney, and from there you just select the AI that you think fits best with the requested art, and you keep generating it until you find the right one. So more or less, this service would act in much the same way as a graphic designer or illustrator would charge, but with the added speed and instant transmission. I don't know, I just thought of Goku's instant transmission. Very similar to the way copywriting scalability would work. You could continue to just build your business, get as many clients as possible, all at the works of your fingertips. Now, as apps like Lensa continue to evolve, don't even just think of like turning people into aliens, but even think of, getting an old dog photo and making it as realistic as possible and putting you somewhere in that picture of it. And say maybe that dog had passed away and it was really hard for them to find an artist who can make it, that wouldn't charge like crazy amounts of money, where you could provide them like 20 versions of this dog photo and it would blow their mind just because of how quick they got it. They would pay you less money than they would to an artist that would take maybe a year to develop. I mean, this stuff is just getting crazy. If you wanted to take a step further, you could also pair what designs you make and say, okay, if you do want to also buy it, I could print it on a t-shirt or a hoodie for you to take it another step further. So all the ideas that I just mentioned are utilizing AI that has existed, but say you do just a little bit of coding and you take it a step even further. Well, what else could you do? So the sixth business idea on our list is going to be photo enhancement. If you've spent any time on TikTok or Instagram, you've definitely seen a bunch of filters on posts and stories before, but now these filters have become the new norm for social media content, and that's where the opportunity lies. Now that we all know how successful Lensa has been, what about an AI that can take all photos and use them to generate AI art? So maybe you take a photo in your city and the AI is then able to generate a super futuristic photo from it, or maybe a dystopian, abandoned version of that same photo too. Giving people the ability to input any photo and get back 50 AI generated pieces of art is a huge appeal that exists now, especially if they're a larger creator. So OpenAI is also going to be releasing the new and updated GPT-4, which has 1,000 times more data to work off of compared to GPT-3, which is currently what we're using. Having more data means you'll be able to come up with even more accurate and better AI generated content, making you even more money. Looking at a prime example called Lensa, where everyone started to change their profile pictures, I myself included, I did it too for my Twitter. This meant that they didn't have to spend any additional money on getting it done. I probably spent like $15 on AI. I even put a photo of my mom in there to see what it would come out, and she loved seeing it. Now, when you multiply that by 1,000 million jungies who also want to try it too, Lensa ended up generating a ton of revenue, which we covered at the beginning of the video. Basically, for you guys, if you want to be the person that sells the shovel and not the one that's trying to mine for the gold, you have to realize that by understanding AI, utilizing it, adding new features could be a very profitable business where social media is still intertwined. Now, the next one on my list is actually going to be related to being a personal assistant. So very similar to the last idea of using software to build a business, a personal assistant AI has the potential to generate life-changing money if it's done right. I can speak from example, but business owners, they have a lot on their plate on a day-to-day basis, and whether it's email management, management, networking, client outreach, or even just taking a few scheduled calls, there's a lot of value that you can provide to people who have the money that can pay you for what you're worth. As an example, I have my own personal assistant. She is virtual. She is one of the best people that I've added to my team. And with the power of AI, I can see it getting taken to extremely powerful lengths. If you happen to be an entrepreneur watching this video, just think of any really simple task that you think, okay, this could have been automated. Why am I doing this right now? Because artificial intelligence right now is the solution for that. And if you're someone who's able to build these tools, understand how it works, and provide that value, this is a fully capable business that could generate you good, life-changing wealth. For starters, you could use a tool that already exists like ChatGPT 3 or 4, which powers ChatGPT to automate email writing. From there, if you can build an AI that understands how people speak and is able to replicate your tone, that's where the real value is going to be. But taking that outside of just email, there are tasks in an entrepreneur's life like check-ins with staff, lead generation, invoicing, quoting, and more that an AI assistant can help you with. Now, if you think about what we already have, there are services like Siri that allows us to automate calling and texting using voice, but being able to pair the functionality of an AI assistant with the voice commands from an Alexa or a Google Home would take this to the next level. If that's kind of going over your head, think of it this way too. Just imagine saying to Siri, send Billy Bob Joe an invoice for $10,000 for the work we did him, and the AI can determine what work was done, draft it all up, and send it off. Now, this service is important and it's of value, so you could definitely be charging more money for a service like this. Entrepreneurs get to a point where they'll pay a lot of people in order to get back time because entrepreneurs value time more than money. Now, ladies and gents, there are some things that you should also be aware of when it comes to these ideas that I want to make note. Sure, these are all going to be good potential possibilities of you making more money, generating wealth, but I also want to say there's no real way to cheat your way to success and make really easy money. Everything takes work, and if it doesn't take that much work, that means there's going to be a lot of competition, and that's going to mean it's going to be harder to break through. So if you think AI can do every single step for you, they can do a lot, but at the end of the day, you need to put your mind to it. You need to be determined and focused enough in order to use this as a tool, because at the end of the day, I see AI more as a tool rather than a completely viable employee that has a mind of its own. Beyond that, AI technology is still in development, and relying on something like ChatGPT can be a little bit more risky too, because there are still mistakes and things that could happen during the development or what I consider like the beta phases for this stuff. But really, setting yourself apart from people is where I think you can find true amounts of success. So with all that being said, let me know if you have any other AI-based business ideas down below in the comments. If you do want to check out Nord, the link for that will also be down below in the description. Thank you again so much for watching today's video. Follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you haven't done so already, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.